Good afternoon, children. It's Anuradha Dattar here again with Standard 8 Geography. On behalf of SV Union High School and Junior College, I welcome all of you. Stay home, stay safe, keep social distancing, and make sure you're learning online. So devote your time and energy and mind while studying. Social distancing is a must. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and don't socialize. This is your textbook. It's very important for all of you to have your textbook ready, a ruler, a sharp and attentive mind, and willingness to learn and understand. So let us start with our second part or the second segment of lesson to understand structure of ocean floor. I've already told you about save water is the need of an hour. How we can save water and why we have to save water, we have already discussed. There is only 1% of fresh water in the form of rivers and we cannot pollute it. And 97% is the water which is being found in the oceans. So let us find out what does water play an important role and what is the relief or how is the relief inside the earth. We have already studied about the structure and the facts of the ocean floor. Just quick revision. The depth of the ocean floor is around 3,700 meters and the structure of ocean floor, ocean differs from ocean to ocean. Ocean floor is consist of all submerged landforms. So let us understand what is interesting landforms which are being told us, it tells us about. The depth which is being here, I have written, it is written in the meters. And then we see that we found one of the largest diversity which exists in the underground water in the ocean or below the ocean surface, or we can see that the ocean floor forms the largest biodiversity area, or the oceans which are having the largest biodiversity. Sorry if I'm repeating it in other languages. Okay, we are going to study in this topic in 4.2 segment about the continental shelf, continental slope, abyssal plain, mountain ranges and the plateaus which are being found, marine deeps, marine trenches, and I think 4.3 segment will be on the marine deposition. So diagram here, we can look at the diagram and see that the coastline, the continent, then we have a coastline, then a gently sloping land which is about 200 meters depth is called as a continental shelf. The extent of the continent goes into the continental slope, and then we have an extensive land called as an abyssal plain, and then in between the ranges, or we found the hills and the plateau ranges, mountain ranges which exist. Let us know about each one more in detail. Continental shelf is, we know that it is one of the most important, and the map over here we say that the large amount of oil well which are being drilled, or the oil which is one of the most important natural resource which keep all of us moving from one place to another place, is found in the continental shelf. Now we know that the Bombay High is one of the near Bombay. Then continental shelf is very important point because it not only used for the human, because it is a gently sloping land. Extensive fishing ground of the world come into this region, and we also know that the ocean water is not very deep. The sun rays can easily penetrate through this region, and food for the fish, that is the plankton, which is being well developed. This is the food for the fish, and the natural gas and a variety of minerals which are being obtained. Mumbai High is one of the areas where the continental shelf which is being located, and one of the important region where the wells which are, or the oil mining which is being done. It is a submerged coastline and its slope is a gentle slope. The continental shelf is not uniform everywhere, and it is narrow along the coast and some continents, while the broad in the hundreds of kilometers at some other. At some places, after the coastline or after there is a lack of absence of continental shelf also, and those areas are very dangerous for swimming. So never ever go for swimming in area. The next important part is the continental slope. Especially, I got a picture for you that is a water slide. What is the continental slope? For example, if you just move in this on the slide, water slide, you enter into the deep because of the force which you come down does not, goes into the deep water. After the continental shelf, which is the gently sloping land, there is a sudden change in the slope which is being found. This is still considered as a part of a continent, and we found this is the descending slope which connects the sea floor floor to the continental shelf, and this still is considered to be the part of the continent. We can compare the change from the continental shelf to the continental slope as we have a water slide. Just for an example, the important part of the continental slope is drops down steeply at the edge of continental shelf. It is depth of a continental shelf is 200 meters, and the continental slope which exists or which is being found at a depth of about 3600 meters. Now I just got a 3D image for you to understand how where we found the continental crust. It extends from the shelf and break to rise. Boundary between the continent and the oceanic crust, steeply sloping compared to the shelf. It is the gradient is about 25 degrees, 5 to 25 degrees it is, and submarine canyons which are also come into an existence in this region. Continental slope is also one of the area where we found the large masses or the large amount of fish which is in this region. The next important region which is being found is called as an abyssal plain. Abyssal plain is an underwater plain on the deep ocean floor. It is like how we have a depositional plains which are being found in the river valleys. In the similar way, these are kind of a deposition taking place. The depth of which lies between 3000 to 6000 meters, and it lies between the foot of the continental rise and the mid-oceanic ridges. Can you just compare the continental slope and then continental rise, and then we have an abyssal plain. The abyssal plains are, it is a primary region of the sea floor making of about 50% of the Earth's water covered surface. Gently sloping areas of the deeps of the ocean floor. They generally lie between the foot of the continental rise and the mid-oceanic regions. The plains consist of various submerged landforms like hills, plateaus, etc. They are the flattest region of the planet and among the least explored area. Please make sure it is the least explored area. These are the large amount of deposition. There is a large amount of biodiversity which exists, and we know that it is one of the most important region found in the abyssal plain, and it is less exposed. It means it might have a large potential which might be the storehouses of variety of minerals found. Then the next important part which we are going to study is about mountain ranges and plateaus. Can you see the mountain ranges? Now these are the weaker zones which are being found. These are the areas, the mountain ranges built up in this region, or this is the region where we found the volcanic takes place. These hills found in the oceanic bed are called the submerged hills of the mountain. Many a times we see in the ocean, the deep in the ocean, some island, they are the submerged peaks of these hills. These hills are hundreds of kilometers wide and thousands of kilometers long. Peaks of the submerged hills come above sea level, and they are visible to us and our marine island. Islands in the Atlantic Ocean, Andaman and Nicobar Islands are some of these islands. Summits of the marine islands are flat and extensive, and they are called as an oceanic or submarine plateau. For instance, Chagos Plateau in the Indian Ocean. They are away, they are cuts. There is sudden rise. Can you see in the diagram? There is a rise where we found the ridge which is being developed. A ridge is an elongated shape of the land which has got a substantially greater height, and these peaks of these submerged hills are called as an definitely we definitely call them as in different types of islands which. Now, I was discussing with you about these marine reefs and marine trenches. They are such an important part. If you can see, they are found in the deeper in the ocean bodies, and we see that they are one of the most important parts which are being found on deep into the ocean. Now, we call as a marine the deepest part are called as in trenches, and Marina Trench is one of the deepest part which exists, the deepest trench in the world, which is at a depth of about 11,034 meters. The mid-oceanic submerged hills and the marine trenches are geologically the most active areas of ocean bed in the world. Let us the next important part which we have studied about marine deeps and the trenches. The Marina Trench, which is being found in the Pacific, is the deepest part on the world, deepest part at a greater depth, which is being found about 11,034 meters, found at a greater depth. Generally, the shallowest are called as in marine deeps, and the deeper ones are called, and extending for a longer distance, are called as in Marina Trench. The tsunamis, the earthquake and the volcano erupts and led to the development of tsunami, which destroys to a greater extent and affects very adversely to the coastal area. Here I have completed my 4.2 segment explaining about the relief of ocean floor. Thank you, children. I hope you have understood with my explanation and PowerPoint presentation. There is a lot more to talk about, but we see that whatever is required for the 8th standard I have discussed with you. You can refer to your textbook or refer to the map. If you like my channel, please subscribe and make sure if you want any suggestion, please let me know so I can improve on my side. If there are slight one or two places I have repeated, so excuse for that. I hope you have enjoyed, and it must be clear for you the concept of continental shelf, continental slope, abyssal plain, the mountain ranges and the plateaus, and the what are called as in marine deeps and the marina trenches. Thank you, children, and see you in the 4.3 segment.